Hello, my name is Sibylla Tringham and I'm the Programme Coordinator of the MA in Conservation of Wall Painting at the Courtauld Institute of Art in London. We've put this presentation together to provide some information about our 3-year MA programme. We hope that you find it interesting, and if you'd like more information, please get in touch via the website. Wall paintings form a major part of the world's cultural heritage. They are present in many different types of structures, in different climates, and made with a wide range of materials. Wall paintings decorate all sorts of structures all over the world, from complex desert palaces in India to rock-cut caves in Georgia and along the Silk Road in China. Wall paintings decorate subterranean crypts in Malta and ancient temples in Egypt to Buddhist temples high up in the Himalayas. There are modest programmes in medieval churches and grand Baroque schemes, and all the way to contemporary urban murals. Given the nature of wall paintings, their integral relationship to the structural fabric, their scale, technical complexity, and vulnerability to changes over time, wall painting conservation is one of the most exciting and yet challenging fields of conservation. The Courtauld is a leading centre for education and research in wall painting conservation, and over the last 30 years the Institute has had a major impact on the evolution of the discipline and the care of wall paintings globally. A considerable part of this impact derives from the Master's programme that aims to ensure the improved care of wall paintings through providing appropriate education in their conservation. The Master's is underpinned by the philosophy of minimal intervention and an interdisciplinary approach. It seeks to impart a methodology that emphasises investigation and analysis of component materials and techniques, and diagnosis and control of the causes of deterioration. This aids design of a preventive, passive, or remedial conservation strategy that respects the integrity and significance of the object and its context. Graduates go on to have a major impact in the conservation of wall paintings and other aspects of cultural heritage, either through roles at leading institutions around the world, as practicing conservators, or through conservation science, teaching, or further research. We attract students internationally and welcome graduates from a wide range of academic backgrounds. We don't expect prior knowledge or experience in conservation, but students are selected on the basis of their commitment to the profession and their previous academic record. As well as the practical side, it's also a highly academic course, so we're looking for candidates who will thrive in that sort of environment. Competence in English, good manual dexterity, and observation skills are also important. Our campus at Somerset House is currently being refurbished, and we are now based at Vernon Square in King's Cross. We have fantastic spaces here. This is our workroom, where we do all the practical work. Other classes and seminars take place in our studio. In our analytical suite, we have binocular and polarizing light microscopes and portable analytical equipment, such as FTIR, XRF, and Raman spectroscopy. We have a wide range of imaging equipment for visible and multispectral imaging and environmental monitoring equipment. We also have a materials archive and historic sample and fragment collections. The Conservation Department has its own library, and we have the National Survey of Historic Wall Paintings in the British Isles. This enormous archive contains extensive records of surviving and recorded medieval and post-medieval wall paintings throughout the British Isles. The material includes photographic records, conservation reports, and art historical information, and is updated regularly. The 3-year Masters at the Courtauld is devoted entirely to wall painting conservation, combining high-level instruction in all aspects through the formal courses with lectures, seminars, and practical sessions, site visits, and research, with extended periods of fieldwork in all 3 years. Teaching in the first year provides the necessary grounding in chemistry and physics for conservation, materials and technology of wall paintings and conservation materials, and conservation theory and practice. The first year also aims to encourage an appreciation of wall paintings through the historical study of wall paintings and their conservation. Students create replicas in the first year to learn about different materials and techniques, but also to learn about original treatises and analytical data. Students become proficient in various methods of recording and documentation, including imaging, graphic documentation, and photogrammetry. And there are also visits to important wall painting sites in the UK, which draw many of these components together. In the second year, formal training is completed with 3 more specialised courses. In the course on diagnosis and control of environmental deterioration, students look in detail at the mechanisms of deterioration and preventative and passive approaches to conserving wall paintings. Students examine techniques to investigate potential causes and learn how to set up monitoring strategies. And they also get to grips with collecting and interpreting environmental data. The scientific examination course looks at different invasive and non-invasive analytical techniques for understanding the technology and deterioration mechanisms affecting wall paintings. In this course, students will practice some of these techniques by examining a fragment from our archive. Students will also learn how to carry out multispectral imaging, a technique which is extremely useful for characterizing non-visible components of wall paintings. The Advanced Remedial Techniques course looks in more detail at the issues, materials, and practices of treatments, such as grouting, consolidation, and cleaning. The third year is divided between individual research projects and fieldwork. The department's fieldwork projects involve conservation, research, and teaching. Each fieldwork is tailored through the 3 years to bring together all that is learnt in the classroom to provide a range of practical experiences, from documentation to investigations and interventions. A high supervisor-to-student ratio ensures that students benefit from an excellent level of supervision. The MA is exceptional in that all the travel and accommodation costs for fieldwork are paid for by the department. Our current projects are in India and the UK. This is Nagaur Fort in Rajasthan, one of the finest surviving examples of Rajput Mughal architecture. Dating primarily from the 18th century, the buildings in the large fortified palace complex have recently been conserved by the Merenga Museum Trust. There are several palaces here, all beautifully decorated with wall paintings, and many are women engaged in various activities. We've been conserving the site's important wall paintings since 2005 in partnership with the Merenga Museum Trust. The wall paintings at Longthorpe Tower are an extraordinary survival of 14th century wall painting and one of the most important medieval secular schemes in Northern Europe. Working in collaboration with English Heritage, the department has begun a new project to address the conservation and presentation of these paintings. During fieldwork, the students are involved in many aspects, including presentations to the public and stakeholders, and are given various managerial responsibilities to help their professional development. Students carry out research in diverse areas, and it's also an opportunity to build up a professional network, speaking to specialists in complementary fields. I'll briefly discuss a few of the most recent projects. Wendy Rose examined the potential of photogrammetry as an accessible and low-tech tool for high-resolution condition monitoring on wall paintings. Wendy was able to identify change in the wall paintings at St. Ortles Church with the smallest verified changes at a scale of less than 1 millimetre, indicating photogrammetry's value as a method for small-scale condition monitoring. Joshua Hill examined the occurrence of metal soaps in wall paintings, a disfiguring phenomenon which is more typically associated with oil-based easel paintings. His findings improve our understanding of metal soap-related deterioration of wall paintings and helps to inform new strategies for dealing with them. Mariam Sagaradze undertook the first comprehensive survey of wall painting conservation practices and identified the key trends and approaches to conservation in Georgia. Her investigation highlights the extraordinarily rich heritage of Georgia's painted churches and their associated deterioration issues, and also the limitations of historic approaches to conservation. Jorien Duivenvoorden's dissertation sought to improve the value of environmental monitoring data for conservators. By customizing statistical analysis software, her research provides conservators with powerful and easily accessible means of analysing large sets of data, thereby improving our understanding of the climate surrounding wall paintings. The programme aims to equip students for a variety of roles, and we will now hear from several past graduates about their experiences and the impact of the course.
Successful wall painting conservation is a combination of that technical side, which a conservator is expected to do, but combining that with understanding and advising on other areas of building management and expertise. And in that way, you come up with an holistic approach, an approach which tackles all of the aspects of deterioration. And that sort of conservation is sustainable. That sort of conservation survives. Much of the treatment we see doesn't survive because the underlying causes were never tackled. And this is something that the Courtauld is, I wouldn't say unique, but rare in promoting.
I think there's the conception of the course where they really were looking at wall paintings holistically. And I think that that's one thing that was so important in the teaching and so important in, really how it prepared us as conservators for actually entering this field. Because I think so often conservation teaching is so object focused, be it a museum trained conservator, or even a conservator that works in built heritage, especially when you're specializing on something like wall paintings. It can be very narrow focused, and wall paintings, of course, are part of a larger system. I think the Courtauld also, it really, it understood the importance of an interdisciplinary approach to conservation. And it understood the complexities of what the conservator would need in terms of knowledge in order to work in that environment. So as conservators, we need to be able to communicate these complex conservation issues with all of our professional colleagues. And I think that's something that, you don't go into the field thinking that these are skills that you're going to need. But I think the Courtauld does a great job in terms of really preparing you to for what to expect, and for giving you the tools to be able to operate within these interdisciplinary teams.
Working as part of a dual department, if you like, with an easel paintings section as well as a wall painting section, gives wall painting conservators the opportunity to see a parallel discipline very close up and to work alongside students with similar but varying abilities. And that's quite an unusual element as well, which I think makes it stand apart from many.
I think Courtauld has cutting-edge technology, like in analytical investigation. We had a portable XRF, FTIR, RAMA. Like, this is really valuable stuff, and I think not every institution has such amazing equipment and facilities in general.
As an employer of ex-Courtauld students, as well as being one myself, my experience has been that good students come out with excellent problem-solving abilities. You very rarely find the same problem twice, and you very rarely find the same project twice. And so the ability to take your skill set and apply it to what you're seeing in a particular building, in a particular project, is critical. And I think this is something that the Courtauld teaches unusually well.
I mean, the course is such a life-changing experience. I think it really changes the way that you see and think about cultural heritage in ways that you really don't even know, can't even comprehend that you're going to think about. It's a course that will force you to, challenge yourself and go beyond what you think you're capable of doing. But it also, I think, instills in you this confidence that you are able to do it, and that you need to do it in terms of this holistic approach to conservation.
I think that future students should know that the course will be very, very intense and challenging. but fun at the same time. And I think a very important factor in the challenging times is the welcoming and supportive attitude of the department, and this will turn their time at Courtauld into one of the most beautiful periods of their lives.